Pinkney, and welcome to my channel. Alrighty, I think I'll start this off with, this is everything that I've colored and worked on in March. And my focus was mostly on trying to put out my coloring book. That's going to be Behold Beauty. It's pretty much a bunch of women of black women and maybe women of color just looking beautiful in their own little way. So I'll show you what I've colored in other books or what I've attempted to color, and let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so in the Fantastic Beauties book by Demita Victoria, I had started on a few of these. I'm not sure if I finished all the ones that I had started on, but here's one where I was experimenting with the I think it was with eyeshadow, or it was with some pastels. Here's the original. I love how this book has 2 pages, so I can see what it originally looked like and then my interpretation, bringing out the grayscale. Now the grayscale is not carried over down below, it's just only in the face, but I kind of obliterate some of their grayscale and do my own thing. So whether it was grayscale or not didn't really matter to me. But doing the face itself, making that 3-dimension pop is one of the things that just like gets me. So you'll see a lot of my faces have like me just coloring like a face and then moving on. Okay, so the next one here, I did this one right here that I started. I was using the pastels, Jane Davenport pastels, and this paper was coated with baby oil, but it's long since dried out. I don't think this page was coated though. Also, let's see, I have a little bit of that pastels. I tried to use some of the glitter eyeshadow here. It shows up with me, but I don't think it's showing up with you guys. And it just kind of gave a little bit of sparkle by accident. Eventually I'll finish it. I was going to finish it for this month, but never quite made it. Let's see. And then this one I definitely coated with the baby oil, but again, it had already with the baby oil, it makes it slicker for pencils. The only thing is that it also makes it transparent, which makes this black really show up, and that's why my colors are darker than white. This one didn't get any baby oil, and I ended up coloring on that one because I didn't see this one. And here's the difference between the two. Alrighty, and make sure that we can see it just ducky here. Alright, so that's those, and now eventually I might do something with the hair, do something a little different. But yeah, these were either Jane Davenport pastels, or they were eyeshadow. I think they were Jane Davenport's. Okay, this one here I did on a coloring live on Instagram. Took me about 3 hours, but I used, and here's the original, I used pastels, the Jane Davenport pastels. Trying to think of what else I used. I should have jotted it all down, but I have some gel pens on the bottom here, some budget gel pens. Let's see, yeah, and mostly the Jane Davenport stuff. I might have used some Prismacolors to try to give her that deep, dark, rich look, but that's what I've got. I tried to go as dark as these things would let me, and I think it came out nice. He's like a blackberry. Beautiful. And I think that might be it with this book. Yeah, and that's it with this book. Okay, Fantastic Beauties. Futuristic Worlds. Not a fan of this book, but I might do some changes to some of the faces and stuff. This one here was a color along with Coloring with Candace on Facebook. She chose the picture, and I thought I could make magic with it. Trying to make like the colors reflect off of each other, and I was using the God, what is that stuff called? Um, ink tints markers, or pencils, ink tints pencils, some markers, some gel pens, and then I came back a little bit later and used a bit of the what is that called? Some of the eyeshadow, but I didn't really use too much of it. I used it like right here. I'm not really a fan of this one. Okay, so that's one. And then I'm starting to use this book since it's so weird. It's such a weird and unusual book that I'm going to use it to like clear off my palette and, you know, like my palette knife or color or whatever. And put it on different pages. So not only will they be colored kind of random, this one had, I don't think it was covered with baby oil. It would have been toned a little bit, but this is all eyeshadow so far right here in the background, and it kind of gives it like this shimmer. And I started falling in love with that shimmer, and I'm like, oh, that shimmer's tight. And that's from some LA Colors Jewels eyeshadow. Some of this right here is from the gel pen, and some of it was from an eyeshadow that was like kind of creamy, but that creaminess kind of gave it, it didn't fall right on the paper, and it kind of gave it this weird breakup pattern. So it kind of gives this character some texture, but it also gives it some shine and some shimmer. Okay, so that's as far as I got on that one. And this is another one. This one's all eyeshadow so far, and this is from that LA Colors palette, Jewels palette, and that's like a bronzish color, but I like how it gives it that shimmer, and that's what I start to fall in love with. I'm like, oh, that is cool. And I think it was only like $2 at a dollar store. So I was like, yeah, I might be buying more. Watch, I'm gonna buy up all the freaking makeup and never wear it. But I like how the eyeshadow just gives that effect. Okay, and there's one other in here. Now this one right here, I believe I might have started in either February or March, and it's not finished, but I don't know, I just am not in love with it. I don't know, it's just so otherworldly, I just couldn't really, anyway. And then this one's like the Jane Davenport pastel, and this one was coated with that what is that called? I can't remember what. It was like a white, no, clear gesso, I think, in some places, or I might be wrong. Yeah, I think there was some clear gesso on there, but the Davenport stuff got into the cracks, so it's not as rough feeling. And it's not coming off, which is pretty cool. Once it's on, it's on. Okay, so that's it with that book. Getting into the stuff that I have been working on, which is just different little projects. This is what I kind of created for my daughter. She's going to an expo where it's all about exercise, and I thought that it would be kind of cool to have I think they do a lot of vinyl type of printing. So I was trying to design some zodiacs with exercise, and you know, kind of like silhouettes that could be easily cut out and weeded. So this one right here could either be Pisces or Gemini. And then I came up with a couple different designs for this Gemini. It could be like this right here, or let's see, turn that off. Let's see, or it could be like this for Gemini, and that would be like, she could put it on a mug or a t-shirt. Let's see, my favorite, my favorite for her, that her sign is Gemini, just to give her some inspiration, was with let's see, it was the silhouette like this. I kind of like that. Let's see the next one. Okay, so the next one I got onto like making a mug kind of kick. So I had taken like a couple of the different images that I had made for her shirt that I sent to her, and let me show you the mug that I made with it. Now I tried to make it on a mug, but it just didn't, you know, like with the infusible ink pens. But there's just too much detail for it for the pens. So I ended up taking one of my rejects and covering it up. And I'll show you what I came up with. Let me switch my feed here. Let's see, I'm trying to figure it out. There we go. And then here is the bug. And what I ended up doing was printing it out on the same type of material that I would do a t-shirt transfer, a dark t-shirt transfer, and ended up putting it on this. And I applied it with Mod Podge, and I'm using the dishwasher safe kind, but the dishwasher safe kind takes 28 days, no damn lie, for it to cure, so that it'll be dishwasher safe. So I couldn't really get rid of the little streaks, but when you have it in hand, it's not as obvious. I just have like this really hot light on us. But I got to put like one more coat, and then, you know, this trick will be waterproof and never come off. So that's one mug. Alrighty, another thing I was working on was a surprise mug for my boss. I was going to do a special mug for her, but Cricut likes to take your original artwork and put double lines on it and then expect you to color it. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll accept that challenge. Oh my god, it turned out awful. The double lines just kind of hosed up the eyes. I don't know if you can see it. I got my pointer pointing at the eyes. It closed them up and made them look sinister. You have to flip it I have to flip it horizontal. So I got it all nice and colored on paper, and it looked okay. But these markers have their own limitations, and I had used marker paper so I could get these nice gradients and stuff, and it barely transferred over into the image. So needless to say, I did not give this to my boss. So instead, I ended up giving her on her web page. Let me go ahead and get that. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so instead on her Facebook page, this is going to be the next mug I do. I just have to wait for them to come in because I used like 4 mugs and ruined them all. So maybe for Boss's Day, I'm going to go ahead and send her this. This I put onto her webpage. I might color it in. But each one of these is like a word, you know. The ones that are really weird are boss in different languages, like patron and jefe, pomo. They're all in different languages. Chef is in different languages. And then numero uno, big cheese, exec, top dog. You know, those are all like, you know, English, but it's like little slang for boss. So that's going to be on the next mug for her, for Boss's Day, or we'll see when I give it to her. But yeah, I ended up creating this for her. It's the same face, but you see what Cricut did. It took all my thick lines and made them into double lines. So what I'm trying to understand is how to get Cricut to print and fill in these lines. I've come across different other videos that give you advice, but they leave really shitty results. But I'll keep working it. Okay, so the next mug I created oh, this is the other side. I was able to get the gradient to kind of appear on the mug, but this is what it looked like on the paper. I mean, you can see the difference between the two. So I was not a happy camper, but had I used the infusible ink transfer type paper and cut these letters out, it would be a different result. Okay, so that's the marker paper I used. Well, I sent that to my daughter as a inspiration. Ghetto until proven fashionable. I love that. Okay, hold up. Didn't color it, didn't put it on the mug, but just thought it was cool. Alrighty, so this is the other mug that I created. I made a little video to my daughter to show her the marker paper and me drawing on it, and I was able to get so gradients. The Cricut program requires that you shrink your image down to like small, and then it puts the double lines on it. So okay, knowing that the double lines are going to be there and whatnot, I just tried to take that into account, and that's what I came up with. And then when I brought it into the press, that's what I got. So what you see here, if you see it like this and it's all filled in, that's how it's going to come out. You know, it's definitely a difference from the paper. Let's see. And that's the other side of it. And this was using the Art Spree type of markers. It was very mixed results. I liked the yellow when I had placed it on here of the Art Spree did not come out, but it came out on the mug. You know, it was like, I don't know, but I like the gradient that it gave me, such as it is. I like the skin tone. Alright, anyway. Okay, so here I sent my daughter a series of images of the mug I'm about to show you guys, and this one actually turned out pretty good. I ended up using the laser paper on it, and right now the Cricut infusible markers, not so good for dark skin. My brother, he's very dark, and this is going to be an anniversary image for them, and they had gone to Disneyland. It's their 19th anniversary, and it just did not capture his skin properly on the hand, but he's darker than that. Let's see. So it's not so good for the dark skin just yet. The colors that they had in the set that I was using, it didn't really have a brown. The closest to brown that it had was like a dark gray. So I tried to mix those tones together, and that's what I pretty much got. So laser paper, solid colors, and your stuff might come out a little bit better than, I mean, like on the jacket and then the hair, kind of sort of, you can see that it came out pretty well. Okay, alrighty, so also for Thursday are my men in teacups and coffee cups. Comes from a group I'm in called Man Froth. It's the froth that's on top of your cappuccino or whatever it's called, and we just kind of made it dirty. So, but I like the idea of men in coffee or men in drinks. So here's a work in progress. I just can't decide how I want to do his hair. So Yeah, for those of us who are thirsty for this kind of entertainment, these are going to be uploaded to my Etsy when they're done. So here's one that's in progress for St. Patrick's Day. Here's one where we're pouring a drink on, and as it comes out of the spigot, he's got coins, and it's kind of falling into the leprechaun's drink here. And you can have a lot of fun with the different colorings. This could be green, it could be green and gold, just type of different things here. But yeah, that's my leprechaun guy. All right, so there's that one, and this one is free. I believe it's in our group. I posted it in our group. Coloring with Candace. Alrighty, this next one here, I wanted to draw a gorgeous guy with this a tea bag that's in the shape of a squid, and the little bag thing, I guess the holder thing is it had two little tentacles that were coming out, but I'm like, well, we'll have one. And I had that in his mouth, and this says thirsty in, I believe, Japanese. But my favorite is that mat there. It's like, ooh, that's gonna be cute. Okay, so there's that guy. This guy, I started on a live stream, but I just can't decide what I want to do with his hair. And I can't decide if it's going to be an iced coffee. Well, I guess it's going to be an iced coffee, or it could be, well, because of the mug, I would think it would be like an iced coffee or a Slurpee type of thing. Okay, so there's that one. Let's see. This one here is going to be prints inside of a wine glass. Still working on it. Trying to decide what else I want to put on here. If there's like something I want to put on in his hands. I just can't decide exactly all the stuff that I want to put on it, but this looks like the start of that one. Okay, let me pause this real quick. Alrighty, here is another drink, a man and a drink, that I did for a live stream. I figure I could draw like a really hot guy in a goblet, but I want it like on fire. So let's see. And but it's kind of like weird fire, so this would be definitely like lit up a different, in different colors and stuff like that. And I threw a little border on there, and eventually I'm going to upload it to my Etsy so that anybody can color it. Alrighty, this one right here was a Catwoman, vintage Catwoman, got some jewels together. And was kind of doing like a half mandala type of thing, but I couldn't decide what to put in between the bat signal, the bejeweled bat signal. And I uploaded this to Etsy, and I uploaded both to Etsy, the plain cat suit and the sequined cat suit. I think I put a little bit more detail in the sequined one. And I started coloring it, but I didn't like it because I was just pretty much testing out the material and stuff, and it just didn't turn out right. But maybe next month I'll go ahead and show that one. Alrighty, so for the last few images that I was able to create in color, this was going to be a tease for our Battle of the Ages for Facebook and Coloring with Candace Facebook, and I ended up printing this one out and coloring it. Let me switch my view again so you can see what it's supposed to look like, or at least the grayscale image of what it looks like. And I'm going to switch that over. There we go. Alrighty, so here's Sir LL. It's not necessarily a Sir. I was thinking more of like a gladiator type of thing, but I liked the sound of Sir LL. And that's that printed out. And then here's this colored. I used, let's see, what did I use? What are those markers called? Oh, I used the Jane Davenports for the skin, and I think I used budget-friendly uh, metallics and what is that stuff called? Jelly roll on the shimmery part of his helmet with the Kangol hat, Kangol helmet, and definitely in the musical notes so you can see them a little bit better. Um, let's see. So they're kind of standing out. I think I used a little bit on chainmail to make that chainmail kind of shine. But yeah, that was my version of LL. I think with the adult coloring, I don't want you to spend like a billion hours on one image, unless you want to. But there's that, and I think that might be it. I'm just doing one final check. Let's see. All right, actually, this is it. This was my Throwback Thursday for the 80s, and it's supposed to be the Knight Rider at a medieval jousting thing. The whole thing that I kind of thought of was incorporating characters from the 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s, but actually have them with the medieval type of motif. So having LL Cool J as Gladiator with the Kangol logo, Knight Rider with the horse that has the little light that goes back and forth, and just kind of, if you remember the intro, he was on I think he's riding in a desert in Kit, and it's like coming from and I don't want to say I pay homage to it, but it's kind of reminds me the background of the desert, where it's mostly horizon and it's just coming towards you. But yeah, it's not the best likeness of David Hasselhoff that I've done, because I have the image of the older Hasselhoff, and I was kind of trying to merge the two together to get the 80s kind of guy. But yep, that is it. It wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. And I will show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. Sorry it took too long to get through some of this stuff, but I'm bearing my soul, bearing my soul. Keep coloring. Have a great one. Join our group, Adult Coloring with Candace, on Facebook, and post your stuff. If you'd like to color some of my stuff, let me know. If you can't get if you want to try to find out where it is, or if there's one that really speaks to you and you're not afraid to show it, just let me know. And I will see you in the next video and the next horrible things that I come up with. Currently, I'll give you a sneak peek of what I created for April. Whitney Houston for the 80s. And I need to find, I want to dance with somebody who loves me. I tried to capture her. I tried. Could be worse. And I don't think there's anything else here. I've been trying to catch up on other different things. But yeah, so let Candace know what inspired you about the 80s and things like that. And Whitney definitely struck a little something in me, so I'll post this in our group and you guys can access it. It's the Adult Coloring with Candace, and I'll also throw a link up for that. And the video itself also has a link to downloading the image, so if you come across that, you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just skip to the end, and I have an instant replay kind of like this. and with a little bit of music, and you'll be able to see how I created it first thing in the morning at some ungodly hour. All right, you guys, take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.